on, everybody? Welcome to the Big Meer Podcast. We got a stacked show as usual. Special guest today, my guy Jake Benson, Jake B, Goonie, 420 Goonie. The guy goes by a bunch of monikers. He'll be on the program today. Great conversation I had with this guy. We talk skateboarding, wrestling, our passion for music, and also how to stay positive. So be sure to check that out coming on this show today. But first, I got to get into what Nicki Minaj said real quick. And I'm not going to delve too much into this because there's not too much to delve into. If you listened to the show last week, that's when a couple weeks ago, that's when I reviewed Sheether, which was Remy Ma's diss track to Nicki Minaj. Now, Nicki Minaj took way too long to respond. That's first of all. So I feel like there is a window when it comes to people caring what you have to say. Definitely, especially in this world where the attention span is just on another level of low. So I felt like Nicki Minaj, first of all, should have responded immediately. But I gave her time, and I said, you know what? It's either she's not gonna respond or she's taking long to, be able to properly respond to all the things that Remy Ma dissed her about. And so I gave her time anyways. This song called No Frauds came out, and I didn't listen to the whole song. I just listened to Nicki Minaj's verse, and apparently Lil Wayne and Drake is on it, whatever. I don't care. Nicki Minaj's verse, and basically she really didn't say anything surprising. I mean, she did say that you left your son for a rack, which wasn't near enough for me to go, oh my God, she got it. No. Nicki Minaj did exactly what I feared she would do. If you remember on the show a couple weeks ago, I said, this is a rap beef, and record sales don't matter, merch sales don't matter, tours don't matter. This is straight lyrical. Who's the best lyricist? Who can bury who the worst? And we did not get that. Nicki Minaj did exactly what I thought she was gonna do. I sell more records, I'm rich, and you beneath me. And that's basically what we got, and it was just a little snippet. And Nicki Minaj lost. And it's just that simple. Nicki Minaj took a massive beating to Remy Ma in this feud, and Remy Ma did state that, it's over and whatever, and, I made 2 diss tracks, and it's done, I won. And Remy Ma took her W, and she gone off into the sunset, and Nicki Minaj gave us nothing, and that's it. That was it to something that I felt had the potential to be really funny. So, anyways, like I said, didn't want to delve too deep into that. Nicki Minaj lost, people. It's just that simple. Anyways, I really want to get into this guy, LaVar Ball. If you know who if you don't know, who LaVar Ball is, that is the father of a top NBA prospect and college ball player for UCLA, Lonzo Ball. Now, this guy has been all in the media for about a month now, all in sports media, and the first time I saw him, he was like, "Oh, put my boy better than Steph Curry, and you could put him on Golden State and put Steph on UCLA and see what team do better and la la la." And I'm like, man, this guy is wild. But you cannot blame somebody. You cannot blame somebody for supporting their children at a high level. I completely understand supporting your child. I understand that, and you should. You should be as big of a fan of your kid as LaVar Ball is as of a fan of his kids. But it gets to a point where you're bringing a little too much attention on yourself and your kid. That being said, LaVar Ball goes on another show. I can beat Michael Jordan in a one-on-one. And it's getting like attention, and guys and everybody is making fun of this guy. He is the laughing stock of the NBA right now. And so recently, a couple of days ago, I heard a Charles Barkley interview, and Charles Barkley was like, no man who scored 2 points a game in college can beat me in a one-on-one. And I knew it. I said right there, I was like, I knew it. I actually recently tweeted this. I said LaVar Ball's dialogue reeks of failed dreams. So I get why, now I understand. Now there's a point. I get why LaVar Ball is so into his kids right now going into the NBA. It's because he is a failed basketball player. And I knew it from Jump Street. I said this guy had to like not make it to be acting like this. You know what I mean? So, anyways, it's revealed that he only dropped 2 points a game in college, and he went to Washington College or something, and he didn't make it to the NBA, and after his college run, that was it. So he got three kids. I don't know the middle child's name. I know the youngest guy, LaMelo, who scored 92 points off cherry picking in a high school game. He got some press. And Lonzo Ball, I looked up his stuff, and Lonzo Ball seems to be very good. I'm not the biggest college basketball fan, but there's so much hype going around this guy due to his father that I had to search him up, and he looks impressive. But look who you're going against. You're going against other college students. You haven't gone against the elite of the NBA, the best basketball players in the world. So, therefore, I'm not completely sold on Lonzo Ball. Honestly, I don't really think Lonzo Ball is going to get drafted first in the NBA draft, especially if the Celtics win the lottery, which more than likely they should just get the first pick. I mean, the Nets are horrible. And I feel like if the Nets don't get the first pick, which would be the Celtics pick, then, it's just another point of this draft lottery thing that's been going on is just simply just fake and rigged, and they're picking who's gonna get that first pick. But anyways, my prediction for Lonzo Ball get drafted is the Orlando Magic as of right now. I got him getting drafted at number 3, honestly. Anyways, so to get into this a little more, LaVar Ball, I really want you to shut the hell up, my guy. You're really bringing on negative attention to your son who's going to be in the NBA next year. And he's going to have to face these people that you are claiming he is better than. He's going to have to face that music. You won't. You'll just get laughed at in the media. They'll bring you onto the show and ask why your son got rocked or got dunked on or got his ankles broken or whatever the case may be. That's the type of attention you're bringing to your son. Your son, Lonzo Ball, is officially a major target to humiliate and emasculate in next year's NBA season. So I would recommend Mr. LaVar Ball, shut the hell up, let your son play, let him do his thing, because I guarantee you, once he got to face guys like Steph Curry, and he does play that same position, I believe point guard / shooting guard. Once he got to face guys like Steph, once he got to face guys like Kyrie, once he got to face guys like Chris Paul, he won't stand a chance because these are the best point guards in the world. And for your son to be just a good college player, I don't think you're ready. You say any better than Steph Curry, a 2-time MVP, an NBA champion, a top 10 3-point shooter of all time, and a guy who has some of the best handles in the league right now. You saying your son is better than that guy. And your son ain't even finished March Madness yet. So anyways, like I was saying, LaVar Ball, please shut up. So let's get into the interview segment with my guy Jake Benson, 420 Goonie, the Goonie Jake B. Check it out right now. All right, what's up, everybody? This is the interview segment of the show, and today I got a very special friend of mine, skateboarding aficionado, a lyricist, a rapper, power of positivity. Everything that he into is basically the same things I'm interested in, other than the 420 lifestyle. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Jake Benson. How you doing?
Wonderful.
Good.
How are you?
I'm all right. All right, so Jake, man, how you feeling? That's first.
I'm feeling awesome right now. I'm like in the prime of my life, you know what I'm saying?
Where?
It's like a lot of loose ends are like coming together for me right now, and it's just a trip. I don't know.
All right, well, let's start from the beginning. Growing up in Portland.
It's just like looking at the Northwest compared to other places I've been. People here move slow. You know, people here like talk slow. We're just kind of like chillers, and so I think that kind of like atmosphere, you know, just kind of, I think it's good for a person. I think I'm not saying everyone should move to the Northwest because I don't want to see that, but I just think that's a good vibe for people to, you know, to live longer. You know what I'm saying?
Word. So, growing up in Portland, tell me about some of the culture, like other than just being chill. Because I see, well, I've been talking. Well, we've been kind of talking for the past what 5, 6 years or so.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and I've been a follower of you. You've been a follower of me, stuff like that. And I noticed that you were really, other than wrestling, you were really into the skateboarding culture. Is that big in Portland?
Yeah, skateboarding's awesome in Portland. There's always, you know, a crew somewhere just they're filming, they're doing their thing, and so many friendly people. You know, they make you feel like you're just, you know, part of the crew or something like that if you're going to have a session. So God, there's so many spots, there's so many nice places out there. Can't say enough about it.
So, how did you get into the skateboarding culture?
I was just with my stepdad, just chilling, watching. We watched Tony Hawk land the 900 on at the X Games in like '99, and like I swear to God, that's what did it for me. And so like that, video games, my stepdad skateboarded, so he was always, you know, out there busting, always with me in the front. And next thing I knew, like as the video games were getting bigger in the early 2000s, everyone was just getting into skateboarding, and it was not hard to find people that were just into similar things with you. Nice people. They really take you in. I think there's a lot of cultures out, a lot of subcultures out there, a lot of, you know, little things that just aren't as welcoming. They don't they
Right.
just aren't like, I don't know, maybe like certain fans of genres of music or people that are into like certain TV shows. Maybe they're just not as like accepting of other people as I think the skateboarding crew is.
Right. And speaking of the video games, it's like I'm a big fan of skateboarding. I love it. It's something I don't do anymore because you get enough bumps and bruises and scrapes and stuff and you realize maybe this ain't for you. But but the video games of the early 2000s, that's what got me into it. And I remember the first one I had was Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. And after that, I just started getting them, and I tried to imitate the moves in the video games. And of course, that didn't go too well. But yeah, I fell in love with it very quickly as a kid.
Turn out three's badass.
Yeah, 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 it is. Okay, so with skateboarding, how far did you get? I mean, did it become a passion over time? Like, did you start skating, trying to get a sponsorship, or anything, or was it just purely fun?
It was fun, but it was life. It's like once you get out of school, you get home around like 3 or 3:15, and then you just go out skateboarding. And if it's raining out, you go to an undercover spot. And I think like there were a lot of people in my middle school that were like experimenting with, you know, they started experimenting with drugs at a much younger age than I did. And so I think you know, one of the things that really kept my nose out of trouble was just the fact that I was just always skateboarding every single day. And like the influences that kind of like had me keep going, they also had me just not stop at all. And you know, it's getting dark out. Okay, maybe I could push in a few more minutes or whatever, and then I'll head home. But it took over for years and years.
Were you one of those guys that had a skateboard collection, or was it just a few boards?
No, I just had one board. I mean, that's all I really rode around with and did everything with. And you know, I broke them like it was nothing. So you know, that got expensive, but
Yeah.
I only needed one.
So, when you would post stuff on Facebook or whatever, I will watch your skateboarding stuff, and you are really good, by the way. So,
Thank you.
what were some of the influences, though? Favorite skateboarders?
Oh man, I mean, you know, it started off with just Tony Hawk games. You know, just like guys like I think Kareem Campbell was badass. What's his name? Rodney Mullen. You know,
Yeah.
just some of those Jamie Thomas. And then I would start to buy skate videos because of Jamie Thomas, I'd buy a Zero video and I'd see guys like Chris Cole and guys like just other Zero skaters. And then once like skateboarding got big on the internet, then I discovered even more great skateboarders. And I just found this guy. His name's Cody McIntyre. And once I saw him, I started to pick up my board again because I went a real long time because I hurt myself, and I went a long time without skateboarding. Once I saw Cody McIntyre on like a couple of YouTube clips, I just thought like I want to try this again. I want to I don't know. So I picked it back up and started to get some old tricks back.
So originally, I used to just ride skateboarding, just street. I was never really good at ramps, never did it. But for you, was it just straight street, or was it ramps, or was it both?
Man, it was only street. It's kind of ironic that Tony Hawk would get me into skateboarding, but that was just all we had around us for just street spots. And then maybe over the last couple of years or so, I really felt like I had to learn, dropping in and more transitions. So I've just been becoming more well-rounded over the last few years.
Okay. So to sway away from the skateboarding culture for a minute there, see, the skateboard culture kind of ties in with the punk rock culture, right?
Oh yeah.
And that happens to be also something that we got in common. I'm a huge punk fan. I understand that you are too.
It really took over a big period of my life. I'm still a fan, but it really took over for a few years.
Okay, and give us the background by that. How did it start? Who started you?
It was just I had a few friends in middle school that they showed me just some music from just before I was born, I guess, and even some new stuff I guess was cool too. But God, just stuff like, I don't want to name too many bands or whatever, but say guys like Subhumans or guys like Misfits or something like that, and maybe even Casualties. Just some fast type, go skateboarding and go bomb a hill. I think Suicidal Tendencies, they're a little rockery. I don't want to get too much into genres or whatever, but just some real fast attitude, kind of just to mesh with the skateboarding style. And God, at the time, like, I didn't hear too much punk in my childhood, and so it hit me like a ton of bricks when I was a young teenager.
Oh, so you really never listened when you was a kid? Like, you never heard it?
No, yeah, just from where I lived, and just the people I was around, it just wasn't too much of a. It wasn't too common, but no. Once I got into like middle school, and skateboarding. That's where I started like hanging out with people that were listening to it, and they really got me into it.
See, mine was kind of backwards. I got into punk rock because my mother, of all people, was really into it.
Nice.
Yeah, so I've been listening to punk rock since I was 7 years old. And because you and I, we both in that kind of wrestling community realm or whatever. So when I like post stuff like punk bands and listening to this, the shirts and the band shirts that I wear and stuff, people automatically think, oh, this kid really must like CM Punk because he listened to the same music. No, I've been listening to punk rock since CM Punk was a nobody wrestling Raven in high school. So, yeah. But yeah, so what were some of your favorite punk bands, and who influenced you the most in that period of time? Like, I know for me, I can listen to Green Day, everything feels better. Like, who was that for you?
Oh, they're like all together. I mean, like most influential, and there are a few songs from the Ramones that really, goddamn, I hate to say them because they're just so, that's what everybody says. But there was this CD I had from them, and God, a few of their songs were they would play so much faster than the rock I was used to, and like Johnny on the guitar, it just made me want to play faster, made me want to skate faster, and I don't know, it's just something I really needed at the time. just a few songs from them that really
Yeah,
really
really.
got me just going, woke me up.
Okay. So, now originally when I met you, you went by the moniker 420 Goonie. I don't think you really use it now. That's not your Twitter name. I still think it's your YouTube name, correct?
Yeah, I still do that on YouTube just so I can get views.
Okay, so tell us about the first time you smoked marijuana.
uh, God, I was 14, so this was a long time ago, and I was probably a week away from starting high school, and um, it was weird. Like it was really meant to seem evil when I was a little kid. Just TV shows and just commercials and stuff, and then it just started to become a real like friendly kind of thing where it was like no one was like pressuring me into it, but it's just like I was just kind of seeing everybody's stance change on it, where everyone's like, okay, maybe it won't kill you, but and so that's when I'm like, is it really as bad as everybody says? And got high as fuck that day. Excuse my language. Should I say
You can say whatever
that?
you want. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Just went out with a buddy like out behind his house and stole a joint from his dad's ashtray. And God, I was a pretty dumb kid, but I don't know. That definitely chilled me out. Definitely had me skating a little bit slower.
Okay, and how long you been smoking? Ever since?
Yeah, well, there was this like short time where I didn't. Uh, in high school, actually, just I started killing it with the grades and stuff, and I didn't know I had to graduate, and so I just started like really focusing on getting my A's up and stuff like that. And so once I graduated, and I really yeah, ever since then. So it's been like 8 years maybe, and it's not even like a huge thing with me. It's just more of just to get to sleep at night after I have a hard night at work.
Oh, okay. Now let's get into something obviously you're really passionate about, and I've been meaning to ask you this for a long time, even before the podcast started. So let's talk about rap, hip hop music. Obviously, you are super passionate about this because you do it. So bring us through the process. How did you get to rap music, and how did you start making your own music?
Uh, I I originally played guitar, and once I saw how hard that was to like produce, how to just make everything sound good, how to record a good drum set, and get the microphone set up for that, and once I saw how difficult the whole rock process was, I just said, God, editing rap vocals over an instrumental, that's got to be way easier. And sure enough, it is. So I've just been trying to make that happen instead.
Oh, okay. So, were you in a garage band?
No, just friends that I jam with. I'd play like a rhythm guitar, and I'd have a buddy on drums and maybe a buddy on bass sometimes, and just trying to play fast riffs and stuff like that and shredding together.
So,
But that's just necessary.
yeah. So, when you got into hip hop, like, it wasn't like artists. Have you always been a hip hop fan, or was like,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
okay?
Like
So drop some names for me. How did you get into it? Obviously.
just when we first got cable, and I was really little. Actually, even before that, my mom had how your mom got you into punk rock. My mom, she had a couple of CDs, and one of them was Snoop Dogg Doggy Style, and we would always bump that in the car, like when I'm getting driven to school or something like that. And I was in first grade and I knew most of the songs on that CD already. And then not long after that, I got into Eminem, Slim Shady LP. I thought that was an excellent CD. Guys like Dr. Dre and most importantly Tupac. That was like I think my biggest real influence with hip hop.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. And I just recently listened to Doggy Style because, I think people probably believe that I am predominantly punk rock, which is very true. But me and my cousin Jalen, what we like to do is we like to branch out, expand, listen to other things. So basically, what we do is like you remember how people used to tape trade like WWF VHSs back in the day.
Yeah.
Like we just album trade. He'll tell me to go, hey, go check this out, and I want you to rate each song 1 through 5, the whole album.
That's
And
cool.
and so that's what I would do. I would get him an album. Like he listened to Dookie by Green Day recently, and he thought it was great. Never listened to it. Of course, he heard like a song, one of the hits
Yeah.
before, but he really liked that. And he gave me like Kendrick Lamar. What's the album called? To Pimp a Butterfly.
Hmm.
Very critically acclaimed, and I actually liked it. I like the lyrics. I think Kendrick Lamar is a very smart guy. So that's kind of what we do to expand our own music knowledge or whatever, because we both listen to stuff that's just completely different.
Yeah.
So yeah, I recently listened to Doggy Style, and I love it. It's one of the most hilarious albums I ever listened to. Yeah, it ain't no funny. The homies don't have none and all that. It's funny.
Yeah, a lot of bangers on that. A lot of controversy with Dr. Dre and the.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a classic.
So you was telling me about this job. First of all, what do you work?
I work at Red Robin restaurant.
Okay, Red Robin. I like their gourmet burgers, by the way. That's probably like my favorite restaurant right now. No joke. Red
Yeah.
Robin. So, you was talking about how working at Red Robin kind of cleaned up your act.
Changed my life completely.
But take us through that process.
God, I started there 3 years ago from this month, and God, I was in my own little world. I had no sense of awareness, no sense of urgency. I was on drugs. I thought I was depressed and had anxiety and all these just like mental issues where I thought I was just in a real downward spiral and just in a real bad place in my life. But this job, you can't be in that kind of zone for this job. This kind of job, you need to be on your toes. You need to use your peripheral vision at all times. You can't be standing around. And I just wanted to become good at this job, and in order to do that, I had to change up my lifestyle when I wasn't at the job. And God, I don't know, like it's just what this work requires. Just I feel like it's just really woken me up as a human being.
Okay, and by drugs, kind of backpedaling. What do you mean? Like, was it only weed, or did you started experience?
No, it would be like uppers to wake me up in the morning, and downers to go to sleep at night, and in betweeners to get me from the all of those. I mean,
Right.
God, I was just taking some crazy stuff and smoking some things, but it was just basically like I always had a reason to like have to take something or smoke something, or it was just so many excuses. I had nothing to contribute to the world, and I just could not live that life and work this job, and so I had to like kind of pick which was more important, and I ended up picking the job, and
Okay.
now I'm living on my own and driving a car, and I'm self-sufficient. It's kind of nice.
Okay, and we all proud of you for that. Now, to delve into something a little more positive topic, obviously, is wrestling. We all know because that's how we met is through this wrestling community. so I
Bless it.
so obviously we are big wrestling fans. So tell me, who got you into wrestling? Me personally, my grandmother got me into wrestling. These women in my life, right? My grandma got me into wrestling, so I've been watching wrestling since before I could remember, right? So,
Yeah.
and I've loved it ever since. Of course, there are times where I get pissed off at wrestling and I just don't watch. Like in 2007, I felt like it got so bad to the point where I just couldn't watch. And then 2008, I felt was a great year, and I came back and started watching again. So, take us through the process. What got you into wrestling?
I had a couple of next door neighbors when I was 5 years old, and they were these twins. I still talk to them to this day, and we went to an NXT show earlier this year. It was so good. And anyways, they had all of the action figures, and they had just video games and memorabilia, and it was just stuff unlike anything I'd ever seen. And I was just making a YouTube video about this, talking about how guys like Yokozuna and guys like Hulk Hogan, maybe Macho Man, and just larger than life heroes that they seemed like, and just really got me into it and wanted to play the games. And my mom got WrestleMania 5 on VHS, and I was just like, oh, I love this right here. Even though, looking back on it, if I watched that show today, I'd probably say it was a piece of shit, but I love that show. I burnt the tape out, and
Was that the first
yeah,
pay-per-view you watched?
yep.
Yeah, kind of a similar situation with me. The first pay-per-view I watched was King of the Ring 1999, which I loved it as a kid. I loved it.
Right.
Steve Austin. That's when I fell in love with Shane McMahon as a kid. I don't know, boy wonder he was a non-wrestler and you just knew he
Yeah.
wasn't gonna win. I guess it was relatable because if I was in that situation, I'd probably be getting beat up by Austin too. So it was the main event was Stone Cold and the McMahons for the I think the power of the company, the ownership of the
Yep.
company. Yeah, and Billy
Yep. They were
Gunn won.
lifting the briefcase on Austin.
Yeah, exactly. And it was the King of the Ring who won, Billy Gunn. And I remember watching this VHS exactly like until it burnt out. And now looking back on it, it might have not been the greatest show, but it was like definitely entertaining as a kid. I love that show.
Yeah, that's a great example right there. For me, it was WrestleMania 15. It was the first pay-per-view I ever ordered, and I was 9 years old. And watching it with my mom, and she was a Rock fan, and I was a Stone Cold fan, and so we were really, butting heads about this. And that was my favorite, like, pay-per-view. That was my favorite match, the main event, Stone Cold and The Rock. And then I look back at that show. Oh my God!
Well, not taking away anything from Rock versus Austin. That match is great.
But besides that, though, that show is horrendous.
Yeah, they hung Big Boss Man.
Butter being knocked out fucking Bart Gunn in like
And
12 seconds.
yeah. And did Shane McMahon win the European title that night?
No, he won it on Raw just before that, but I thought he had a good match with X-Pac. He took chops to the chest with a leather strap. Shane McMahon did in that match.
Yeah, that dude is crazy. What was the first pay-per-view I ordered? I'm pretty sure the first pay-per-view I ordered on pay-per-view, and I remember it, was SummerSlam 2001 Invasion. Angle.
Nice.
Yeah, I love that show. No matter what people say about the Invasion angle, those are some of the most vivid memories I have of watching wrestling as a kid, which explains why I love Chris Jericho so much, because this is like his up-and-coming year, and by the end of the year, he was the champion. So that kind of explained that. And I was also more of a Rock guy than an Austin guy. I hated Austin as a kid. You probably can't believe that. I hated Austin as a kid. Purely, the sole purpose is because he always beat The Rock.
Yeah.
And I know WrestleMania 19, my favorite WrestleMania, and that's a big reason, is because The Rock finally beat Austin in a straight up match. So I really couldn't get into Austin until he was like the GM, and I was like, okay, I can let it go. He ain't wrestling. So
I really I like to go to watch a SummerSlam 2001 event just because it's such a shock. The Rock and Austin in the main event, but it's nice.
yeah, I love it.
Or wait, did I say SummerSlam? I meant Survivor Series.
That was Survivor Series.
Yeah.
SummerSlam 01 was The Rock versus Booker
No,
T.
Angle and Austin had a killer, even though it ended by a DQ. I don't care.
Yeah, that's about. I actually put that in my top 10 matches a few years ago, even though it ended by DQ. And I feel like if it was just a straight up winner, that probably would have been the greatest, recognized as one of the greatest matches of all time. And I genuinely
Yeah.
believe that if it didn't end in a DQ. To get to close, what keeps you so positive? We see you on Facebook, we see you on Twitter. You always positive. You always saying good things in the morning. You always keeping yourself positive. So, what's keeping you like this?
Because I don't think a lot of people are, and I know that when I was going through a really rough time in my life, that there were people there. I needed a positive person in my life, whether it was someone talking to me or whether it was scrolling through my damn timeline and it was just somebody to tell me to keep going, you know. And there was my grandma, and there was Lil B, the bass god, and the two of them, I would the messages I'd see from them were just so uplifting, and I just wanted to kind of send that on to people because I know, the timelines can get real messy with people always want to talk about politics or the Kardashians or just some bullshit. But every once in a while, you just need someone to let you know, like, hey, you're killing it. Keep going. The world's not as shitty as everybody makes it seem. Stuff like that. And that's stuff that I truly believe. But I think people just need to hear it because they just get so caught up in problems and sadness. And I don't know. Some people need that kind of message.
Oh, and has anybody ever messaged you like a thank you, those posts, or gave you like a shout out, anything for the positive?
Yeah. It means the world to me just to know that like someone's felt better, or just it's like one of those people that say if I can help one person, then I've done my job. That's exactly how I feel, and I've definitely had people tell me thank yous and stuff like that, whether it's even from my music, saying that they really enjoy the messages that I send through some of my songs, and God just makes it all worth it.
All right, and to wrap this up, buddy, can you please give me and the masses a positive word to send off?
Yeah, something, just whether you're on Facebook or whether you're on the news or you're just around some people, there's always going to be there's always going to be controversy and bad news and bad vibes, and there's always going to be something wrong going on in the world. But I think a lot of the good in the world just doesn't get seen. So when you think everything's going to crap and you think you're just trying to do good in a world that's not going to see it or recognize it, that's totally not the case. There's still a lot of good people out there. They just don't get the recognition as the bad people do. So keep pushing. I'm trying to think about how to word this right here. The world's just not as bad as the news makes it seem it is. So, that's something that can really bring people down and just bring down their vibes through the whole day. So it's just kind of worded weird. Sorry about that, but just don't be brought down by the idea that the world's a bad place, because it's really not as bad as some people might tell you it is.
All right, and that's perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Jake Benson. Follow him on Twitter at Jake Gloveslap. Links will all be in the description or wherever I decide to put it. Thank you, Jake, very, very much, dude.
Hey, thank you.
All right, I'll see you later, man. Again, great interview with my guy Jake, and make sure you go check out his music. In all honesty, it definitely is Big Meer approved. Go on his SoundCloud, check out his stuff. It's really good. It's different. And in a world full of mumble rap and drill music and same old, let's just be straight up, it's bad. And when you go listen to a guy like Jake, it's fresh, it's new, it's different, and you'll enjoy. So go check that out. Go on SoundCloud, check him out. Great stuff. Anyways, so over the past Monday, I believe, what was that, March 5th? 1 second, let me check. Let's say March 6th, excuse me. I went to Monday Night Raw, right? And we surprisingly got good seats. It was last minute. We decided to go at the last minute because I peeped that the Raw was the night after a pay-per-view, and my guy Jake, who I just interviewed, obviously, recommended that I go. He was like, yo, are you going to Raw? I was like, I didn't even know they was going to be in town, whatever. So I checked it out. I noticed it was the night after a pay-per-view. Usually the Raws after the pay-per-views are really quality. So we did that. And God, I gotta say that I had a wonderful time. I got a lot of footage and stuff. I got pictures and everything, the whole nine. I'm just figuring out what I'm gonna do with it. Anyways, so we go in, the show opens up with Chris Jericho, my hero, and I really need to change my Twitter name before this guy sues me, Y2J. But it opens up with him. I'm going crazy. The whole Allstate Arena going crazy. I lose my voice just like that. Whatever. Jericho is out there. I'm having a good time. Kevin Owens comes out, another guy that I love. And Samoa Joe comes out, another guy I love. Sami Zayn comes out, another guy that I love. And they all brawling and they going at it. And then they make a match. All right, Zayn versus Owens. Jericho versus Samoa Joe in the main event. Cool. Then what else happened? I got to see Goldberg come out. Goldberg came out, and I have seen Goldberg live before. So it was my second time seeing Goldberg live. Once when I went to Raw, my very first Raw back in September of '03. He was in a tag match, I believe, with Shawn Michaels, and I'm pretty sure they was going against Randy Orton and Ric Flair. That was that Evolution wave at that time. Anyways, so I have seen Goldberg before, but it was okay to see him again, I guess, just due to circumstance. I'm not really too thrilled with Goldberg, and that's really the main topic I want to get into is, let's say, and I don't want to make this like a wrestling podcast because, it's not, but let's take this into a life situation, people. Let's take this into a life situation. You have a job, right? Correct. You're here every day. And let's just say someone comes back to your job or your company or whatever the case may be because they were really good at what they did 20 to 23 years ago. And you here every day, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, but the company is not in the state that it was when he was there. So they bring him in, but he's only part-time. Not only do they bring him in as part-time, he gets paid more than you who's there every day. Now, take this into consideration. The guy did a lot for you way back when, and when he came back, business didn't boom. It moved up maybe about, let's say the profit moved up about 10%. And then it went away after a couple months while he was still part-time and stuff. So it's really, like, he really not doing too much for you. That's basically what the situation with Goldberg and Brock Lesnar and guys, these part-time guys is. And I see a lot of people complaining, talking about, this company needs part-timers because they draw money. And more people watch the show when they're on there. And that's not really the case at all. I mean, the ratings pretty much stay the same when they there or they not. Usually the biggest pops they get is, again, a night after a pay-per-view or their first night back. But if it's just like, hey, I'm on here tonight, whatever, like, people is just going to stay the same because, they were hot Goldberg was hot like 20 years ago. So, not that many people are like, care. They don't care. Only wrestling fans or fans, only wrestling fans care. Like, I'm sure a lot of people who heard the news like, hey, Goldberg is back, probably was like, wow, times must be rough. He's still doing this? Like, who cares? Like, it's embarrassing. And I do think guys like Goldberg, they need to just go ahead and wrap it up. Because honestly, I don't know why if Goldberg really did this for his kid and his wife to see him live like he claimed he did, or is he doing it for a check? Either way, I'm not entertained by what's going on with the Goldberg situation. I would really like to see them push on to with some new talent. and actually go. They promote this new era for the people who don't watch wrestling. This is a very interesting story. They promote this era. It's called the New Era. It's called the New Era. But the guys who main event their biggest show of the year this year is Brock Lesnar, who won his first WWE Championship in 2002, and Goldberg, who won his first World Championship in like 1998 or 7. Excuse me if I got that wrong. I can't remember. But anyways, that's who main event your biggest pay-per-view of the show. Whatever. It's just, it's ridiculous. I believe it's false advertisement. It's blatantly false advertisement. And I think they need to go hard if they're going to do this new era thing and actually have it make sense. When they did the new generation gimmick, guys like Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels took over the company, and they were very strict on hey, these old guys are out, these new guys are in, and this is the way it is from now on. And they relied on their own young talent. They made them better. And then all around the corner, we got an attitude era out of it. And that was the biggest boom in wrestling history. Point being, you have to develop and let these guys grow. Help them grow. Write good stories for them. Help them learn how to act. You know what I mean? Like, everybody is pretty good in the ring, and the wrestling part of wrestling is the most important, is a vital part of this whole situation. All you got to do is help them learn how to build a story, and I think you're pretty good on these guys. Because other than that, it's not like back in the day where everybody was ridiculous and getting drunk and going to jail and dying and whatever. Like these guys now, these young guys are pretty disciplined. They don't do too much backstage or illegal in the streets. It's very rare that you see a wrestler now on the current roster at least dying or going to jail. We've seen like a couple people, one guy drunk in public, that being Bo Dallas, I believe last year. I think Emma got falsely accused for stealing a phone case, and they fired her and then gave her a job back about an hour later. So anyways, like I was saying, I think, hey, WWE, you want to improve on this? You want these guys to act right? You got to give them the ball. They really don't feel like they have that ball because guys like Brock Lesnar and Goldberg are just waltzing in there, getting world titles, getting the main event, and then they leave and they're gone for months. And now you've promoted Brock and Goldberg as your main attractions. So now everybody else who watches casually are looking at a guy like Kevin Owens or Seth Rollins or any of these other guys, Sami Zayn, Samoa Joe, whatever the case may be, that they don't matter, because they go heavy in promotion and, hey, this is what you want to watch. And that being Goldberg and Brock Lesnar. So anyways, hope you enjoyed the podcast, and I'll see you on episode, what is this, episode 6? Already, huh? All right, I'll see you on episode 7. Have a nice night.